actually like Caitlin, and I'm just being real and truthful. She has brought millions. I wouldn't be surprised if it's billions of eyes onto the W and onto women's sports.
Sophie Cunningham isn't holding anything back. Her recent remarks about Caitlin Clark are causing major waves across the WNBA.
I have to remember, like, she could be playing if it wasn't in the WNBA by now.
All right, forget all those rumors about Caitlin Clark quitting or heading overseas. Sophie Cunningham just dropped a truth bomb that hits way deeper than any injury update. She opened up about the insane pressure, sky-high expectations, and harsh reality Clark's been living through. This isn't just about fame, it's about survival. In a league where most players keep quiet to stay out of trouble, Sophie does the exact opposite. She's built a reputation as the WNBA's biggest truth-teller, and it's costing her big. Just this year alone, she's been fined thousands for saying what everyone else is afraid to admit. Remember that TikTok post where she called out questionable officiating? Yeah, that one ended up costing her $500 straight from her paycheck.
Or is it slow? Maybe it's useless.
Then she appeared on a podcast and called out the inconsistent officiating, and just like that, another $1,500 vanished from her paycheck.
The WNBA fined me for...
No! You got fined for episode 1?
They fined me $1,500. I'm like, what? I'm like, this is just the beginning. I was like, you're kidding.
Sophie didn't stop there. She went even further, accusing the league of blatant favoritism. This time, they didn't even announce the fine. They just hit her again, clearly sending the message, stay quiet and play. But Sophie isn't having it. She keeps speaking out, and that's exactly what makes her voice so powerful. Consider this, WNBA salaries range from around $64,000 to $242,000 a year. A $1,500 fine can equal 2 weeks of rent or a big chunk of off-season earnings. That kind of financial penalty would shut down most players, yet Sophie keeps pushing, paying the fines while exposing the league's inner workings. She's become more than just a frustrated player. She's the league's unofficial whistleblower, risking her career to reveal the truth. Because of that, her perspective matters. When Sophie talks, fans know it's not rumors or attention-seeking, it's real insight from someone living the grind. Her choice to keep speaking despite the cost sets the stage for what's next, which is why her comments about Caitlin Clark carry so much weight. She isn't just chasing headlines. She's shining a light on truths the league would rather keep hidden, making her impossible to ignore. Was Sophie hinting at hidden pressures on Clark, or claiming the league is holding her back? That question changes everything. For weeks, everyone's been asking the same thing. When will Caitlin Clark return? Reporters, coaches, teammates, no one could give a straight answer. Fans scrolled daily, desperate for updates, but all they got were vague replies like, day by day, or no update at this time. That silence fueled endless speculation, until Sophie Cunningham casually blew it all open on her podcast. One line completely shifted the conversation overnight. She said Clark could be playing if it weren't for the WNBA.
You also have to remember, like, she could be playing if it wasn't in the WNBA by now.
Listen, those words from Sophie, they hit like a thunderclap. This wasn't some fan talking on social media or an outsider speculating. This came from inside the league, from someone who knows the brutal truth of what it takes to compete at this level. For Caitlin Clark's millions of fans, Sophie's statement was alarming. Truly, because what Sophie was really saying is that Caitlin's absence isn't just about needing more time to heal from an injury. It's about the whole environment she's trying to come back to. Sophie made it clear Caitlin's not out because she's weak or not tough enough. No, it's about the WNBA's ridiculously unforgiving standards. Remember Iowa? Caitlin dominated there. She was the absolute face of college basketball, drawing massive crowds, selling out every arena, and boosting TV ratings through the roof. Her range, her vision, her ability to take over games by herself. She was a generational talent. But in the WNBA, Sophie revealed, those college accomplishments don't automatically translate here. Just being good isn't enough. You have to be flawless. And if you're not 100% ready, physically, mentally, competitively, this league will absolutely chew you up and spit you out. That was the real bombshell. Sophie wasn't trying to insult Caitlyn's skill. She was exposing a truth that most people didn't want to hear. The WNBA has just reached an insane level of intensity where even a superstar like Caitlin Clark needs more time to adapt. It's not about heart anymore. It's about survival. By saying Caitlin could be playing anywhere else, Sophie really highlighted just how brutal this league has become. She could be dazzling fans overseas or even back in college right now. But the demands here are so extreme that rushing back could wreck not just her season, but her entire career. And that's why Sophie's words landed with such force. She wasn't just giving an update. She was sounding an alarm, pulling back the curtain on a league that might just be too savage, even for its brightest star. Now, if the WNBA is this unforgiving for someone like Caitlin, what about everyone else? The truth is, when Sophie said Caitlin Clark could play if it wasn't for the WNBA, she wasn't exaggerating. She was pointing to a reality that us fans only see on the surface, but players feel deep down every single night. The WNBA isn't just a step up from college. It's a completely different universe. And in this universe, good simply isn't good enough. At Iowa, Caitlin was untouchable. Her skill, her range, her vision made her unstoppable. But in the WNBA, defenders are faster, they're stronger, and they are relentlessly physical. Every single player on the court was once the best on their college team. Every roster spot is held by someone who fought for years just to survive. And Sophie put it bluntly, at this level, you don't just need talent, you need to be flawless. She described the league in a way that made me pause. To Sophie, WNBA games often feel less like basketball and more like, well, rugby. The contact is constant. The hits are way harder. Players openly talk about needing actual armor just to get through a season. And the refs, they let so much more contact go than fans realize. This creates an environment where toughness isn't an option, it's mandatory. So, imagine stepping back onto that stage after an injury. In most leagues, stars are eased back in with limited minutes and maybe more protection from refs. But in the WNBA, the margin for error is razor thin. One little misstep, one hesitation, and the league's physicality can end a comeback before it even starts. That's the brutal standard Sophie was exposing. Elsewhere, like overseas or even back in college, Caitlin would likely be playing right. But here, rushing back means risking so much more than a few shaky performances. It could mean rain jury, losing confidence, or even careering setbacks. And here's the key point. Sophie wasn't calling Caitlin soft. Not at all. She made it clear that Caitlin's work ethic and toughness are absolutely not in question. What she was highlighting is just how extreme the WNBA has become. The league is deeper than it's ever been. From the starters all the way to the last bench spot, the competition is fierce. There are no weak links, no easy matchups. Every possession is a battle, and every player can expose even the smallest weakness. So when Sophie said Caitlin's absence isn't just about healing, she was talking about this exact reality. Caitlin isn't sitting out because she lacks heart. She's sitting out because, in today's WNBA, anything less than 100% readiness is a total recipe for disaster. The league doesn't give players time to find their rhythm. It demands they arrive fully prepared or risk being swallowed whole. And that's the real core of Sophie's bombshell. Caitlin's situation isn't just her personal struggle. It's a reflection of how the league has changed. The WNBA has gotten so competitive, so physical, and so unforgiving that even generational stars need more time just to survive. It's a brutal standard, and as Sophie hinted, it might not even be sustainable. And get this, Sophie Cunningham, she never holds back. When she criticized the WNBA, it wasn't out of bitterness. It was pure frustration over what she saw as a super dangerous pattern. To her, the problem wasn't just the crazy demands of the league, but that those demands weren't applied equally. She argued that some players got a cushion and protection, while others just had to take relentless physicality without any help from the officials. She called it a two-tier system. The clearest example, that heated game where Jay Sheldon drove into Caitlin Clark and hit her straight in the face. It wasn't subtle, it was reckless and obvious. It could have easily sidelined Clark all over again. But after review, officials downgraded it to a flagrant one. That's a punishment more for a careless bump, not a strike that could cause injury. Moments later, Marina McBride shoved Clark with both hands, sending her crashing to the hardwood. No attempt at the ball, no pretense of a basketball move, just a shove. And the respawn, no ejection, no serious consequence. When crew chief Ashley Gloss actually defended the decision, saying it didn't meet the threshold for an ejection, the message was crystal clear. Clark was on her own. That silence, that refusal to act, was exactly what Sophie had been warning about for ages. She had already put her reputation and her wallet on the line by saying out loud what fans and players were seeing. On her podcast, she talked about how officiating was tilting game. She recalled matchups where certain stars seemed wrapped in invisible protection while others were just battered with little relief. Even mentioned Paige Beckers as an example, remembering a night where whistles seemed to follow her every move. You literally couldn't touch her. Sophie vented. It wasn't anger at Paige's talent. Sophie respected that. It was about fairness, about the credibility of a league that claims to have integrity, but shows favoritism right out in the open. Caitlin Clark's situation made that imbalance impossible to ignore. This rookie wasn't just any player. Was the one filling arenas, the one broadcasters couldn't stop talking about, the one the league itself was banking on to bring in new fans. Yet, instead of getting protection to help her transition into this super tough stage of her career, she was just thrown into the fire. Every collision, every shove, every no call became part of her initiation. And for Sophie, watching that happen in real time was her breaking point. Late in that same game, after watching Clark take hit after hit, Sophie made her stand. As Sheldon went up for a layup, Cunningham dragged her down deliberately, unapologetically. It wasn't a basketball play. It was as if the officials refused to protect their star. Then she and her teammates would. After the final buzzer, she didn't backtrack or pretend otherwise. Admitted what everyone already knew. This was paid. Years of silence from the league, years of officials ignoring dangerous hits had led to this moment. Sophie's action wasn't just retaliation against one play. It was a warning shot at the system itself. But if the retaliation was loud on the court, why did the silence oft feel even loud? That's the thing about Caitlin Clark's injury. For all the chatter around her absence, Sophie Cunningham revealed something that stunned fans even more than her comments on physicality or favoritism. Nobody actually knows what's going on. Not the fans, not the reporters, and shockingly, not even her own teammates. On her podcast, Sophie admitted it flat out. "I'm not holding out any information. I just literally don't know." Pause and just think about that for a sec. In almost every other professional league, when a star player goes down, transparency is a must. The NBA puts out detailed injury reports on LeBron James. The NFL gives daily updates on quarterbacks like Patrick Mahomes. Even in college sports, fans usually get some kind of timeline, even if it's vague. But in the WNBA, the silence around Caitlin Clark has been deafening. And this isn't just about one player's recovery. Caitlin isn't an ordinary. She's the reason TV ratings exploded, arenas sold out, and mainstream media finally started covering women's basketball like never before. Her presence isn't just valuable, it's foundational. Without her, it feels like half the league's momentum has just vanished over. Yet, the updates we get are still maddeningly vague. Day, no update at this time. We'll see next week. That's not clarity. That's just deflection. And Sophie's confession confirmed what many already suspected. The league is controlling the narrative. They're keeping Caitlin's condition deliberately vague. Why, though? That's the question. Burning through social media. Is this silence about protecting Caitlin's privacy? Is it an attempt to stop panic from sponsors and networks? Or is it part of a deeper pattern? The same pattern that fines players for speaking out, that hides officiating inconsistencies, and now maybe conceals the truth about its biggest star. Whatever the reason, this blackout puts Caitlin in an impossible spot. Without official updates, rumors just rush in to fill that void. Fans speculate endlessly online. Is she struggling more than we've been told? Is she being rushed back or held back? Is this about her health or something bigger? And here's where Sophie's honesty really hits hard. If even she, Caitlin's peer, her competitor, her fellow WNBA insider, can't get answers, then what exactly are they hiding? For Sophie, admitting she's in the dark wasn't just a casual comment. It was confirmation of something bigger. That the league's silence isn't an over. It's a choice. And it's one that forces Caitlin Clark to fight not only her recovery but also the constant weight of speculation. So, when official updates dry up, rumors always take over, right? And that's exactly what's happening with Caitlin Clark. The WNBA silence has left fans scrambling for answers, and the online speculation is getting louder every single day. Scroll through social media, and you'll see the same themes popping up over and over again. Concerns that go way beyond a simple ankle or knee injury. Some fans fear this isn't just bad luck. They argue Caitlin's injuries are directly tied to how the league treats her on the court. They say, without consistent officiating protection, she's just being battered night after night, setting her up for serious long-term problem. One viral comment put it bluntly, this is just going to be her career if the league keeps letting people foul the hell out of her every game. Others take a different angle, pointing fingers straight at the WNBA. They're asking why. Every injury update sounds exactly the same. Day by day, no clear timeline, no medical report. In other leagues, that kind of uncertainty sparks press conferences and detailed breakdowns, maybe even investigative coverage. But in the WNBA, it sparks suspicion. Is the league hiding something? Are officials deliberately being vague to protect their image? And then there are the whispers about alternatives. Whispers getting louder every week. Fans have noticed that overseas leagues often offer better conditions for their start. In Europe or Asia, players often get paid more, receive structured recovery plans, and ironically more transparency around injuries. These aren't just fringe theories either. Dozens of WNBA players have already gone that route, splitting their time or even leaving the league altogether because the financial and physical demands of the WNBA just weren't sustainable. For Caitlin, the speculation is obvious. Could she one day do the league's most important rookie, the face of its recent popularity surge, decide she's better off somewhere else? Nobody's saying it'll happen tomorrow, but the fact that fans are even asking this question is a huge warning sign. Here's what makes this speculation so dangerous for the WNBA. It's not just wild fanfiction. Every time Sophie Cunningham speaks up, she validates these concerns. She said outright that Caitlin could already be playing if this were another she's. Confirmed that favoritism shapes how games are called. And she's admitted that even she doesn't know Caitlin's recovery timeline. In other words, Sophie isn't just fueling the speculation, she's legitimizing it. And that's the bigger issue here. This isn't just about Caitlin Clark missing a few games. It's about trust. If fans start believing the WNBA is hiding the truth, if players keep confirming their worst fears, then the league isn't just dealing with an injury crisis. It's staring at a credibility crisis. And that kind of dam that doesn't heal with time. So, if the league's biggest threat isn't just injuries, but lost trust, what happens then? Ultimately, at the center of this whole storm isn't just Caitlin Clark's injury. It's Sophie Cunningham, the player who simply refused to stay silent. In a league where speaking out means losing thousands of dollars, Sophie still chose to risk her paycheck, her reputation, and even her standing with the WNBA just to tell the truth as she saw it. Think about that for a second. Every fine was a warning shot meant to keep her quiet. Yet, she kept going. She admitted that the league's physicality is almost unsustainable. She pointed out the uneven officiating that protects some stars while leaving others, like Caitlin, completely exposed. She even revealed that even players closest to Caitlin don't know her recovery timeline, which is pretty clear evidence of a deliberate blackout. Each of her revelations pulled back another layer, showing fans that behind all the highlight reels and the soaring ratings, there's a harsher reality the league doesn't want them to see. And here's the crazy irony. While the WNBA punishes Sophie for her honesty, fans have totally embraced. Just scroll through the comments on her clips and you'll see the same message repeated over and over. Finally, someone saying what everyone else is afraid to admit. To those fans, Sophie isn't just another player. She's the voice that broke the silent. Her words about Caitlin Clark aren't just about one injury. They're about a league facing a massive identity crisis. Can the WNBA truly balance its newfound competitiveness with sustainability? Can it actually protect its brightest stars? instead of just breaking them down? Is it building a system so unforgiving that even generational talents can't really thrive within it? That's the future Sophie has forced everyone to confront. Years from now, people might not just remember Caitlin's struggle. They might remember Sophie Cunningham, the expensive truth-teller who made fans see the league in a totally different light. And the question her honesty leaves us with is one the WNBA absolutely cannot afford to ignore.